Hello, Luis. Hello, Mike.
Hello, guys.
Hi, Caio. Hi, Luis.
Thank you for joining us. So, first of all, are you an iOS developer?
Yeah, I think I am. I've been working on iOS development for almost 6 years now,
Awesome.
and yeah, it's a platform that I really like, to be honest. And this is what I'm trying to achieve, like excellence on it. Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, that's a story of a bunch of iOS developers. We really, really love the platform, the devices, right?
yeah, totally.
Awesome. And before iOS, were you doing any development?
Yeah, I was doing some development with Java and C Sharp. A lot of RPG also, that it's an IBM language, that it's almost an oldie one. And yeah, uh, other few things also. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
How can we help you?
Well, basically, I have like three questions. Uh, the first one is related to how can I trace my progress based on the goals that I have set and my plan. Um, Basically, my plan it's like to achieve excellence, become an excellent iOS developer, and my plan is basically take the course, complete the course, and generate content. And I want like to have something to show my progress. How can I trace that? If you guys can recommend me a framework or a technique or whatever that works for you, it will be really nice.
Okay.
Okay. So, it's nice to have some, let's say, you need to have higher goals. Like, I want to be a black belt developer, right?
Sure.
But you cannot only have this high goal because you need to have measurable, milestones in the way of getting,
So
right? Okay, we need smaller, measurable goals in the way. Just like if you want to build an app, like a massive app in a company, what are you going to set? A bunch of milestones to get there, right? The same way, following, I don't know, agile, you're going to be releasing every 2 weeks something, but within the epic, right? Within the whole application you want to develop. And you get there one step at a time. Especially because you can track and celebrate achievement as well. Because if your only goal is to become a black belt, it's going to take you, I don't know, a couple of years
yeah,
to be motivated along the way, right?
yeah, totally.
So, Mike,
Totally.
any advice here?
Yeah, absolutely. I I think you should break down your, you know, what is required first of all. Okay, like first of all, break down what is required to get that goal. You know, it doesn't matter the goal, but let's say here is, you mentioned creating content and achieving technical excellence, right? So what is required there for creating content, for example? You know, is probably writing. You know,
Yeah.
like I
First
don't
of
know
all,
if you're gonna.
blog or
Sorry.
first of all, create a blog. What is the first step to get there, right? The first milestone is like start your blog, like buy a domain and put it online. Second step, your first post, and so on, right? You have that already.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, that's like I'm trying like to set like a realistic goal. For example, I want to release, let's say, 20 posts this year, and that's like my initial goal for content generation, because I want to take advantage of content generation, because it helps me to relearn what you guys are exposing on the program, right? That's what I'm getting the most from it. I think that I'm like covering two scenarios: generating content and learning. That's something that I'm trying to do.
20 posts in 2021, right?
Correct. Correct.
Then you need to set a schedule now, right? As part of the planning, you need to set a schedule, like how many posts you need to release a month to achieve this in a year, and then
Yeah.
how many a week, so on, right?
So this is your quantifiable metric here. Like per week, for example, or per month. Let's say you have, I don't know, 5 per month that you want to release. So how many of those have you released, or how many words have you written? Like that's another one. Because if you don't have the words, you're not going to have the release, right? And if you don't have the release, you're not going to end up fulfilling, like a whole monthly schedule. So, take it from like the smallest unit and then build on top of that.
Yeah, so you set the schedule here, and also, like say words, like how many words you want in each post. Like you can set like a maximum, for example, so you don't have, because if you start writing a post, you can start writing infinitely until you have a book suddenly, right? So you need to
Yes.
have something that say, okay, that's it, 1,000 words, let's say, per post, 1,000 words per post. So it's not too short, not too long, and you have a metric now. You reach 1,000 words, you read again this post, like, am I being too shallow here? Should I, I need to fit it in 1,000 words, so it's not too long, not too short, or 1,500. I don't know. You decide this as well.
Yeah.
Right, as part of your plan here. So 20 posts, 1,000 words each, for example.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I schedule, because now when you are writing, now you have some guidelines you're following, right?
Correct.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's too open. If it's too open, like you don't know how to start, you know when you end it. You need to have a definition of done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I'm done. Ship.
Totally. Totally. I like how you create these learning outcomes on each lesson. That's something that I really enjoy, because I don't go to the next one until I understood everything of those outcomes, and I'm trying to use that. So it really it likes me a lot. So it's something that I.
Yeah, awesome. You can start your posts like this, learning outcomes. So people that are reading it know what they should get out of this. So they put their mind on that specific outcomes, right? We help them take the most out of what they're reading.
I'm a big fan of that, because that's going to help you as well produce. If you structure your posts and have like be focused and talk about like one thing or two things, and have those things as like the learning outcomes, then you can expand just on those things and also convey the message to the reader much easy. Yeah, it's going to be much easier for them.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so do you have a schedule already for your writing? Like, I'm going to write 500 words every Friday. I'm going to allocate 1 hour, and in this 1 hour, my goal is to write 500 words. So every 2 weeks, I can release one post.
Great.
You need to set a schedule. Yeah.
What I'm doing is like measuring my days in Pomodoros, since I read that from the intros. So I say I'm going to spend like 25 minutes today just writing or looking for a subject. And that's helped me like to split my day in a realistic manner, So that's what I'm trying to do. That's something awesome. Pomodoro technique for me is like the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
For example, you want to read a book, at the same time you want to do the course, and at the same time you want to write posts. What can you do? You split like 40 minutes for reading my book, 30 minutes for taking a lecture in the course, and 30 minutes for writing a post, right? And then you're going to put a timer, and when the timer is on, you turn off everything, and you just do that task. For 40 minutes, you're going to read 40 minutes. The timer rang, you close the book, you move, you have a short break, then you move to something else. And if you keep doing this consistently throughout the year, you wrote 50 posts, you read 15 books, and you finish the program.
Great. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Schedule the times. When the timer rings, you stop, do the next thing.
Totally.
It can be much more productive.
Yeah. Exactly. And like the good thing about this is that you don't have to think what to do next, as well. If you have a schedule, for example, you just follow the schedule.
Yeah.
So
that frees your mind from that thinking.
Absolutely.
Right. Cool. So my second question is also related to generating content. Is it okay for you guys if I take like things that I really like from the course? For example, I really love the memory leaks class. Sorry if I am talking about the program, but I really
Oh,
love
it's fine.
that. Okay. I really love that part, and I created like my first post based on that subject on teardown blocks, and it was amazing because right now has like 58 claps, and I wasn't expecting that, and it means that I'm generating value for someone else, and I also went deeper in understanding what it's happening there. So that's I wanted to know if it's that okay for you guys if I take like those kind of topics from the course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But of course, you're gonna do it with your own voice, applying to your own challenges. Create like a different application of it in a different context.
Yeah.
And give credit. Give credit. Every time you mention something you learn from someone else, you give credit, and of course, it's fine.
Okay, great. I'm gonna add that to the post right after our call.
Right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Right.
awesome. My last question would be more related to native mobile development. You know that in Latin America, for example, the region where I live, people try to reduce cost, and basically they are like betting more on hybrid development. I don't have anything against that, but how can you convince people to bet on native mobile development? Because right now I'm contributing to Android applications also, and I didn't feel like I was, or there was a huge gap. I know that there is a gap, and for me, I put it like Spanish and Portuguese. I'm a native Spanish speaker. Both are different languages, but they share like the same root. And that's what I felt when starting learning on Android. So how can I like expose this to my bosses or customers to bet for native mobile development?
Right. So when you say hybrid solutions, you mean like Flutter, React Native, and
Exactly.
these write once and run everywhere, right?
Correct. Those ones, yeah.
Yeah, and many companies, as you say, they choose these hybrid solutions because they believe it will deliver 2 apps for the price of 1,
Yeah. Lower costs.
right? Lower cost, as you said.
Correct.
But hybrid development doesn't mean half the cost. It could be less. It can be less, but doesn't mean it's half. And sometimes it can cost even more, right? There are a bunch of cases out there where it costs more.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with hybrid development, but it's important to study successful hybrid apps. How they did it, teams that successfully did it, and what worked and what didn't work for those teams. Also, what success meant to them, because some companies, they did this not because of cost at all. They were not interested in the cost side. They just wanted to deliver features at the same time, and they were willing to pay more for that. So it's important to understand, when you see a successful hybrid app, what were their goals, what worked, what didn't work, and what success meant to them. Because in my experience, this write once, run anywhere, it's not real. It works for simple apps. For very simple applications, it may work. But for any like middle to large apps, it requires still a lot of custom code for each platform.
Yeah.
Which requires platform-specific expertise.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which is very hard to find. Like maybe you find it once, then what you're gonna do if this developer leaves the team? How are they gonna continue that? So
Yeah,
there are bigger pools, of talent, I think, for individual platforms rather than these hybrid solutions.
because
Okay.
usually, like, the companies, they mention successful projects like, oh, Airbnb is using it, or Facebook is using it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But most of those big apps, they used it just in a tiny portion of the app. They have like most of the app native, and then there are some parts of the app that are not so important. They go and they develop with React Native, but it's not like 100% hybrid as well.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot of custom code in there specific for the platform. So it depends on the application. If the application requires a lot of custom platform-specific code, I find it's cheaper to do it natively.
Great, totally. That's almost what I thought. Yeah.
So you need to understand the needs of the project you're working in, and maybe hybrid is the solution. We need to be open for it as well, right?
Yeah,
If
totally.
it's a simpler app, absolutely. But maybe you shouldn't be working on simpler apps, right? If you want to grow in your career, you need to take bigger challenges as well,
For sure.
and bigger challenges.
Correct. Sounds good. Because I'm learning React.js, and I'm like doing my side projects just to practice, and it's something that I really like, to be honest. That's what I said, that I don't have anything against those stacks, right? But I totally prefer working on native mobile development, and basically would be like to show the clients the trade-off, or to choose or to choose any of them, right? So this application is too complex, let's dive into mobile native development, and that would be like something that we could use, right? For
Yeah, absolutely. Like if it's using like camera, like drag and drop, all these custom features, that is like platform specific, or if they wish to use in the future as well, because it's going to be more expensive in the long run to create these custom solutions for custom platforms with React Native or with Flutter. But it depends on the project, right?
Yeah.
And as you said, like you prefer native, and there's a lot of other developers that prefer native. And if a company goes to the hybrid path, a bunch of developers will leave, and they're gonna lose a bunch of domain knowledge. People that were maintaining those applications, they're gonna lose skills. They're gonna have to hire new people and train them again. So there's this cost that they don't account for when choosing hybrid.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah, it depends. It's about making the right decision for the challenge at hand.
Great. Well, those were my questions, guys. I really appreciate your time and that you accepted my mentoring request.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for being with us.
Pleasure.
See you guys.
Take care.
All right,
Bye,
thank you.
Luis.
Bye-bye.
See you. All right, who's next? Tiago, hello.
Hi there.
How are
Hi,
you?
Tiago.
I'm fine. How about you?
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So, are you an iOS developer?
Yes, I am. I actually started in game development back in 2013. And during an internship in educational games, I had the opportunity to take on an iOS project by myself. And okay. Then I had the opportunity to join Apple Academy here in Brazil to actually learn how to make iOS apps. And from there, I went back and forth between game development and iOS development. And on my latest job, I started as an iOS developer in a technology for education company in Brazil. And I started as an iOS developer, and through over-delivering, I actually got the lead position. Later on, I started to lead also the Android and backend team. And I saw that my career was taking this turn towards management also. And that's not exactly what I'm after. Actually, I've already defined my goal. I will live in Brazil. I want to move to Germany. And I saw that the tasks I was doing at my last job weren't getting me anywhere near my goal. So I quit and decided that I would actually focus on studying iOS and all the new topics that I didn't have the time or couldn't find the time to study. So, and then it hit me, the phrase, you don't know what you don't know. And there were a lot of things as an iOS lead developer that I didn't know. There were terms I've got to know, like solid principles. Okay, I can say them, but getting to understand how they can help to avoid the problems you would face by going fast, and testing and TDD and all these topics that I didn't had contact during the my career. So I started to study, and then there was this term Caio used in a podcast, analysis paralysis, and I would like to expand on that topic because there is a lot I can study on iOS and Swift. There's a lot I can study on software architecture and test-driven development and CI and automation. But there are also other skills that are, in some cases, equally as important, like communication. You need communication. It doesn't matter if you're the best technical professional in your area if no one knows, if you can't say your opinion, if you can't stand up in a meeting and say, oh, stop, we can do this some other way. So there are other skills like communication, leadership, design, psychology, business administration, the language you will be working with, and the domain of the company you're joining. And it's so much, there are so much things, different things to learn, that it's not that I don't know where should I start. I don't know when is it enough. Like, I can study leadership. I love leadership. I love the process of coaching and mentoring and teaching, but I wouldn't become a better iOS developer by studying leadership. So when is it enough? How should I focus? How should I track? What should I be learning?
Why wouldn't you become a better iOS developer by studying leadership?
By studying only leadership.
Okay.
Not that leadership isn't important, but building your whole career out of leadership, you might become an awesome manager, but it wouldn't make you a better in the technical aspect. So keeping this balance is more like what's my question.
So regarding when it's enough, you can always improve, right? Like, it's an infinite journey, the learning journey. You need to be a student forever. You just need to split your time to learn all those skills, because leadership skills will make you a better developer, not in the technical sense, but a better developer. Because the developer is not just about, as you said, writing code, right? You need to talk to the business side. You need to stand up in meetings. You need to bring solutions to the table. You need to communicate well with others. You need to work well with others. You need to be organized, and so on. And this makes you a better developer, because a developer, the way I see it, is not just someone that writes code. Someone that solves problems. And sometimes they write code to solve the problems.
Okay.
Right? So you learned that there are essential skills to thrive as a tech leader, right? As a tech lead, someone in a leadership position and also technically excellent. So you're already ahead of most people, because most don't even know what they don't know. You know now. You know what you don't know. Right? So we just need to build those skills. Allocate your time.
Yeah, even if I would argue that even in the coding, for like as the coding aspect, leadership can make you even better. Because of, like, while you're coding, it's a decision making process. So you can incorporate so many elements in that decision making process, and like how to think with for example, a cost benefit sort of pattern, or be more empathetic in your code, which is, I mean, you're probably going to learn that through leadership initiatives, right? So yeah, it's definitely something that you need to cultivate. If you want to become better.
Yeah, but the technical side as well.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
So
Of course.
what I
right?
do is I split. Like, I try not to read a technical book after another technical book. I also try to split a little bit. I read a technical book, like I read domain-driven design book. A very heavy book, technical. Then I read a book about leadership. Then I read another technical book.
Yeah.
Then I read a book about personal development. Right, you need to split,
Right.
so you don't focus only on one thing.
And you blend all of them, and then this is awesome because you can connect the dots between those fields, right? And you can improve in all of those fields, not just one of them, as you progress and as you learn more and expand and practice more, right? So yeah, it's very important.
If you look at our
Okay.
book suggestions, we don't have
Exactly.
only technical books. Actually, we have more books about general education, which is like personal
Yeah.
development, than technical books. Why?
For sure.
Because we don't want our students to be only focused on the technical stuff,
Absolutely. I saw the book suggestions, and part of this seeing this problem is actually because I feel much more inclined to read the non-technical books and become a better person. I feel it's part of the of my side that likes to explain things. I like to make everyone understand everyone. So one of the things I grew up learning, reading, hearing is a good leader is surrounded by people smarter than him.
Right.
In the sense that those people are actually smarter in their specific areas. So I feel that kind of gave me some. The technical side is important, but I don't need to be the best. If I can communicate with the best guy and explain his opinion to the non-technical people, I'm doing the leadership task.
Right.
But it's not enough when we get to coaching other as a lead developer, when you should be guiding people to become better in the technical sense. Not everyone wants to be a leader, not everyone wants to be better at communication. I believe everyone should want to, but not everyone wants that. So even if I can coach someone to become better at leadership, maybe that's not their objective. So I see I also need the technical side, and it's just
Absolutely.
so much. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you learning now, the technical side? What is your process now for learning?
actually, I'm going through all the videos on Essential Developer. I remember the moment it clicked that I didn't knew something. I need to find the video and write an article about that moment.
Okay.
But I know I'm leaving this side behind. I know I'm not practicing enough, and then that's the problem. I left my job, so I'm currently unemployed. So investing money into education is a little bit harder. So
Right.
I'm trying to practice and getting examples. And I wouldn't say it's the best way, but it's the way I can afford right now.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I would recommend you to join, if you can make the investment, join the iOS Lead Essentials program, because it mixes both technical and the social and the leadership skills you need.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice here. But yeah, if you're gonna make the investment, that's fine. Do you have books you can read as well?
Yes, I started with the Swift book by Apple to update myself on Swift, and
that's how you
actually
should start.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of Swift developers don't read the Swift book by Apple.
Yeah.
I think it should be like number one thing
For sure.
a Swift developer does. It's free. It's there by Apple, by the source.
Yeah.
So yeah, start there. Because again, I don't know if you've seen our other sessions. You need to learn the concepts, then you need to see examples, right? You can get this from books, and then you need to practice. You repeat this cycle. The more you repeat this, the better you become.
Okay. Moving on to my second question. Since we are on the topic of learning, my question is, I achieved a lead position without getting to know some basic things like the importance of tests. And thinking about it, I realized that that's the way we teach new developers. And when I say we, I say the society as a whole. So I remember in Apple Academy, we didn't grasp on tests. And I was watching the newest version of the Stanford course on iOS development. And on the first or second lesson, the instructor says, I won't be showing you tests, that they are not important, but we don't have the time. And I feel a lot of students learn this way. They learn to not write tests. And that's how things go. And I would say most junior developers that join this area wouldn't know the importance of tests. And I can't see where should it change. Where should a developer on his career start to understand on? Because I see we should get this from senior developers, but they were junior developers one day who didn't know how to test. And so I see this flaw in the process. And I know it went wrong for me. I went far ahead of what I should without tests. So how can we, not specifically I, but how can we help junior developers to understand and to give them a better foundation?
Right. When I was a senior developer, when I became a senior developer, I was not writing tests as well. I also went to this path of becoming a senior developer without writing tests. And I would teach other junior developers how to code without tests. And of course, when I learned how to test, I saw how inefficient was my process at the time.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why we started Essential Developer, to share this with others, because we saw this is a problem. The same problem you saw, we saw it as well 5 years ago. And we were like, this needs to change, because we start seeing that you can teach junior developers from day one to write tests, and it works. I used to think that no, first you need to teach them how to code, then you teach them how to test. Completely backwards. So you can teach them from day one to start with test driven. And we know a lot of junior developers, they even joined the academy, as interns or like just starting in the industry. And from day one, they start writing tests. And Christophe, he lives in France. He said that he's the senior developer, his lead developer, said that, oh, you look like an iOS developer with 5 years experience when he was a junior. Why? Because he learned from day one those techniques that people are going to learn 5 years from now.
Yeah, he had like 6 months
years
experience.
from now.
Yeah, it was something, in this nature.
So yes, you can teach them from day one. And we started Essential Developer. We teach people from day one to write tests, to care about architecture, to write diagrams, all the practices we learned the hard way. I don't want my students to do the hard way. So how can you do it? When you become a lead developer, you're going to build the skills. And when you become a lead developer, you will work in a team. You're going to help the juniors do it from day one. That's how you can help.
Okay. Another quote from the Stanford course is something like, okay, on this app, we don't have networking. But if you had, you would put it on the view model. And and I was like, no, you should. But that's part of the way we teach, and that's what started to bother me, especially since I went back to studying from the ground up to build the skills that I am missing. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. We should be doing that in a different way.
And the knowledge is out there, there are
Yeah.
great books, there are great courses, the knowledge is out there, and there's a lot of people trying to solve this problem. Be one of them. Help us.
Will do. And going in the third question, actually, I am really into education and teaching. And my question is, how should I approach a company in a specific industry that I like in another country? Since I said I want to move, I will move to Germany for work. How can I get a position? How should I start contacting? Where should I look for? Because I really feel there are, at least here in Brazil, I can say from my colleagues, there are a lot of developers who don't mind the industry they're working for or they're working in. Some of them would go for the highest paying job, be it on finance, be it on delivery, be it on whatever. They don't mind. It's more like so I know iOS, that's what I'm doing. I'm coding this task, and they don't care about the domain of the company. And that's not something I like. I don't feel this way. I really believe I should be working with something that helps people. I would say it's in high level in the field education as an industry is something that does that. So I could open LinkedIn and apply to various positions in different companies, but it's really hard to find something you're attracted to, unless it's delivery. Then you can join any one of our finances. Okay, so how should I do that?
Right. So I recommend, let's say you want to live in Germany, and do you have a specific city you would like to be in?
I'm looking for Berlin.
Berlin.
Because
okay.
I already have 5 or 6 iOS developers that went there.
Right. So search education companies in Berlin, for example. Start researching in this field that you want to work in, and you're going to find their website. You're going to find in there, they probably have a tech blog if they are a tech company, right? They're going to have a tech blog talking about the technologies, how they develop apps, how they develop the backend, what kind of frameworks they use, what kind of solutions they came up with. Start commenting on their posts, interacting with them in there, asking questions, be interested in what they're doing. Reach out. So when you apply then later for a position, it's like, oh, it's Thiago. I remember replying to one of his questions, This is one way you can approach. You're going to learn about the domain. You're going to learn what they're doing. You're going to learn if you're going to enjoy working for them, if you share the same values. And at the same time, you're already connecting with them, networking with them.
Makes sense.
I fully understand. When I moved here to the UK, I got offers to work, amazing offers to work for gambling companies, which is massive here in the UK, gambling. And nothing wrong with it. It's not something I would like to do, Didn't make my heart tick.
Yeah.
So I said no to those offers. And then I found a company, in the entertainment industry, e-commerce entertainment industry, that identified with their philosophy, identified with the people in there in the interview. So yes, you choose something that will make you happy as well. If you can make that choice, go after it. You can find them. And I recommend you reach to them on their tech blog. You can start there.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Those were my questions. Makes perfect sense.
Awesome. And let's teach junior developers to write tests from day one.
Okay. Count me in.
Awesome. That's it. Anything else?
No, I believe that's it.
Awesome. Great session. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, Thiago.